to Jessica's Cooking. I am 6 years old and my name is Jessica. This is my sous chef mummy. And if you want to, you can watch, but it would be fun if you cook along with us. Today we are going to bake scones. The cookbook is called Beginner's Cookbook. We shall begin. First of all, we need to turn on our oven to heat up to 230°C. Step 2. Sift the flour, baking powder and salt into a bowl. Cut the butter or margarine into small pieces and add them to the flour. You can make it without milk if there's somebody who's gonna eat this that's dairy free, or you could just make something else for them and you could bake some for you.
Well, we're doing ours dairy free, so we've got some dairy free milk and we've got some
dairy free butter.
Yeah.
We need 225 grams of pure self-raising flour.
Here you go. You can turn the scales on. Put it in. Ooh.
Now, if you've added too much, you can take some out. That's perfect. If you've got it up to 225 grams, then you can stop. If you put a little too less, you can add some more. Next, we need 1 level teaspoon of baking powder. Full and flat. Next, we need a pinch of salt. It can be sea salt if you have any, but it would be nice for it to be a different salt as well. Remember, 1 pinch. Then we need to sift it. We sift it by holding it and tapping it. And we need a bowl underneath to make sure it doesn't go onto the ground or the counter.
Because who would tidy that up afterwards if it did?
You. We sift it to make sure that all the crumbly bits aren't crumbly in the food.
To get rid of all the lumps?
Yeah. It makes a beat sound.
It does. You can make some music while you're cooking. Do I get a turn?
I can do it now.
Thank you.
Now have some smooth self-raising flour, a level teaspoon of baking powder and a pinch of salt. Next, we need to cut the butter or margarine into small pieces and add them to the flour. We need 50 grams of butter or margarine. Now, only grown-ups or practiced people should use a knife. We have 52 grams, but we should have 50.
But that's okay.
Because if we have a little bit too much, that's fine. So you might decide to use 2 knives, or a knife and a fork, or a knife and a spoon for this. Butter is very sticky.
Well, this isn't butter, is it? This is like a dairy-free margarine, which is probably why it's a bit softer than butter would be.
And margarine is also sticky. Number 3, we should rub the butter or margarine into the flour until the mixture looks like fine breadcrumbs. Add the sugar and milk. Now anyone could do the squishing it together because it's not dangerous, but babies can't.
Why not?
Because babies might eat it
So?
raw.
Well, it wouldn't taste very nice, but it wouldn't hurt them.
And babies would just mess it up.
Possibly. Do you like this bit? This is my favourite bit.
My favourite bit is the mixing with a spoon.
You do like mixing, don't you?
We're almost there. Now, Mummy, does this look like fine breadcrumbs?
I think it does, you know. I think you've done a really good job. Let's have a quick look. I think that's really good.
As you can see, it looks like breadcrumbs. Now we need to add the milk and sugar. We need 25 grams of 1OZ caster sugar.
So 1 ounce is just a different type of measuring. So it's 25 grams or 1 ounce of caster sugar. So what have we been using? Grams or ounces?
Grams.
Yeah.
If we have a bit too much, it's alright because they're not like really bad. Then we need 150 grams mils
Well done.
of milk.
Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Brill. Now, because we're doing it vegan, what type of milk is this?
We're using Alpro milk, but you don't have to. You can just use normal milk. Then, number 4, we need to use a blunt knife to mix everything to make a soft dough. Then press and mold it with your fingers until it's smooth. It looks a tiny bit like porridge.
What's in porridge though that we don't have in this?
We have
What makes porridge, do you know?
I forgot the name.
Porridge oats. There's no oats in this, is there?
But it looks a bit like porridge. It's just it's gonna be a bit more yummy. I've had porridge with honey before.
That's pretty yummy, isn't it? So we just try and bring a bit of the floury bit from the bottom on top. And then if it's still a bit too wet, what do you think we can do if we've put a bit too much liquid in by mistake?
Add a bit more flour.
Yeah, so let's see if we need to.
Now, since I'm not a professional and not an adult, I don't know when it's ready.
So I think I think it's very wet, that, Jessica. So what I'm going to do is add a bit more flour. Okay?
Just a bit. Yeah, that's probably enough flour.
Okay, let's see if that works, shall we? Because that's the only way we learn, isn't it? Maybe next time we should add the milk a little bit at a time so that if it's looking like it'll be too wet, we stop adding the milk. What do you think? So do you think that's ready now for you to mix with your hands? Yeah?
Sticky.
Is it still a bit, is it a bit sticky? Okay, shall I put a little more flour?
Yeah. Sticky fingers. Still sticky.
So when you're kneading, it's a bit of different to when you do the breadcrumb bit. So when you're kneading, you sort of bring it together and over. Gosh, that's very wet, that is. We've obviously gone wrong somewhere there. Let's see if we can bring it back together, shall we?
A lot more flour.
But then we don't really... The problem is when you put lots of one thing in, then it's the balance of the flour, butter, sugar isn't quite right. So let's see how it happens. Can I give it a try? Do you want to start getting the bits off your fingers?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can bring it together. Starting to come together, Jess.
It needs to be a little bit sticky to come together, because if it's all dry, it won't be able to stick.
That's very true. So a little bit of sticky, but we went a bit far with a bit too much sticky, didn't we?
Yeah.
So
if it's too sticky, it'll just be wet and can't go together.
do you want to try and get all the sticky off your fingers? I'll put one final sprinkle of flour in.
And on my hands to get the flour off.
And then we'll do a bit more moulding, a bit more kneading. And then we'll put it out on the counter to roll out. Ooh, what do we need to put in it before we put it out on the counter to roll out?
Chocolate chips!
Now is that the only thing you can put in scones? What other things can you put in scones?
You can put in jam or whipped cream if you like.
Well, before you cook, what can you put in before you cook?
We could also put in things like raisins.
Yeah.
But since it'll be yummy, we're adding chocolate chips.
We are.
Are they dairy free?
They are dairy-free chocolate chips, so Gally can still eat them. So how many should, I don't know, how many should we add? Why didn't you do it?
A lot.
A lot. Gosh, they're big ones.
That's enough.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I wonder if they taste nice.
Shall I try one?
Oh, you better.
Yes.
We've got to mix those in now, haven't we?
Yep. All of them. Now these are what I call yummy. Now we should always taste in case it doesn't taste nice.
Well, you've already tasted it, haven't you? And
Yeah.
maybe with this we should probably cook it first.
Yeah.
It's a bit wet, this mixture still. I wonder where we've gone wrong. But does it matter?
Nope.
Are we still having fun?
Yeah.
Are we still going to learn how to do it different next time?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Next, we need to take it out and roll it with a rolling pin. But first, we need to sprinkle an area of your work surface with flour and put dough onto it.
Your hands.
Oops, I've got some chocolate chips on.
One less chocolate chip for the scones.
2.
Right. I'm a bit worried that this mixture is going to be a bit wet, Jess, so let's
Then
see
it
what
will
we
need
can
a
do.
bit extra cooking.
Maybe. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle. We're using a lot of flour here.
Yeah.
What you can do is you can sprinkle a bit of flour onto your rolling pin to try and stop your rolling pin from sticking.
First, can I wash my hands?
Really? You're about to get them messy again here.
You've got a chocolate chip.
Mm, yummy.
Try it.
That's okay, I'll save it for the scones. Go on, do you want to go wash your hands then? Is that what you want to do?
Yep. If your hands are dirty, always wash them before cooking.
Well, you always should wash your hands before you start cooking, Jess.
And if they're dirty in between cooking, then we need to wash them. Now we take the rolling pin.
You got clean hands now.
And roll the dough.
How thin or thick?
We need it to be 1 centimetre thin.
So then let's turn it and give it a roll that way. Don't push too hard, just a nice gentle roll. Okay, and then we'll give it another turn. So what we want to try and do is stop it from sticking. Okay, we've got like some very chocolate drop heavy side and a bit of a chocolate drop light side. I think that's getting there, Jess.
Yep, it's getting there. That's enough to make a chocolate chip pancake.
One very large pancake. Right, do you think that's about 1 centimetre thick? What do you think?
Yep. Now, it would be nice to have your cutter shaped like this, but it doesn't matter if you just have a plain circle cutter. 1.
You could leave it there until you've cut everything out, and then we can re-roll it. So push it down and give it a wiggle. There we go.
2, 3, 4. Now we need to take out the ones we've cut and put them on our tray with the cleaning foil on.
The cleaning foil? Do you mean the parchment?
Yeah. I just don't know how to say it properly.
That's okay. It's called baking
Then
parchment.
We need to put it back together and roll it out again.
Okay, you're going to roll it out. Trying to push these chocolate chips in. So then give it a turn. Okay, and then we'll turn this, and I want just a nice gentle roll, okay? That's it. And roll all the way towards you, because look at that big bulky bit there. Yeah. And then shall I give you another little tip? When you're doing your cutter, if you put your cutter each circle as close together as possible, you'll get as many out as you can without having to rewind it. So put, wait. Okay, then the next one, put super close to it, but try it there. Okay, and the next one super close, and you might be able to squeeze one more on before you have to then cut it out and roll it again. Okay, so look, you don't push down all the way. It can be a little tricky to get them out. So try and make sure you push down all the way.
Yeah. I saved one.
You saved it. Thank you.
Then we put it back together again and start another one.
Roll it. Roll it first. Nice and gentle, remember?
We would only have one.
And it would be super thick, wouldn't it? Remember to bring the rolling pin all the way back towards you, because there's a big bumpy bit here. And don't forget to push down all the way with your cutter. And a good wiggle. And then super close, can you squeeze another on? Now I think we've used a cutter slightly bigger than what the recipe says, because this will be our last one. Should we just give that a bit of a squish down? Because I think that's going to be our last one, isn't it? Yeah? Yeah, happy with that?
Yeah, this one can be a one, like, just chocolate chip.
So how many have we got there?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12. And how many did the recipe says it makes?
16.
So maybe next time if we use a smaller cutter or we roll it out thinner, we'd get more. But I think 12 is still okay.
Yeah.
Yep, shall I put them in the oven for you?
Since we don't have 12 people.
No, we don't have 12 people. So why don't I put it in the oven? Ooh, or have I missed something? Oh, have I
Yeah.
missed something? Sorry, sorry, Chef Jeff. What have I missed?
7, we need to put the circles onto the baking sheet, leaving quite a lot of space between each one. Brush the tops with a little milk.
Right. So sorry, I almost missed that, didn't I?
Yep.
So there's dairy. Oh, I'll get that in a minute. There's some dairy-free milk.
Now, where is the brush?
Let me find a brush for you.
We're playing hide and seek with the brush.
So we've got, oh, we do have a brush. There we go. So not too much because you don't want them too wet, but you brush the tops of those.
Yeah, because they're already quite wet. Now we can tap it to make it have a little bit more. Or a little bit less, I mean. Now we can put some more milk on it each time, or if you like a little less milk, you don't need to do that. Now, since we don't mind how much milk, we're just going to do it like this.
And turn it around so they're closer to you.
Thank you, sous chef mummy.
You're welcome, Jess.
Wow, this is a big one and a thick one.
That was the end bit of the dough that we had, wasn't it?
Oh. Step 8, we need to bake the scones for 7 to 10 minutes on the top of the shelf of the oven. They will rise and turn golden. Lift them into a wire rack to cool.
Now, because the oven's super hot, can I do that bit? Yeah?
A grown-up should always use an oven, but if we're an older kid, we could do it, and if we're like a younger older kid, our grown-up could help us.
A younger, older kid.
Like 10 or 12.
Okay, so now we're going to do some tidying. Wow.
We always need to tidy up.
Yep.
I love the brushing bit.
Was that fun?
Ready to be taken out. Now, only a grown-up should take them out, because if a child takes them out, we could burn ourselves. Now, they look golden to me.
Shall I show the camera?
How about you, Mummy?
I think they look fabulous, Jess. So what do we need to do now? Careful, this is super hot.
Put them on here to cool down.
Because they're super hot, would you like me to do that? Or shall we leave it for you? Okay, so don't touch the tray. And what you need to do is you need to not be leaning over. You need to be standing closer. Don't touch the tray. Yeah. Too hot?
I'll control your hand.
Well, why didn't you hold my wrist there?
Well, help.
They are quite hot.
Am I controlling your hands?
It's all of you. Wait a sec. Because the other thing we can do, Jess, if they're too hot, is what?
Wait. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the scones if you've been cooking with me. Bye.